Welcome back to Broken Archive. If you're new here, this is a place for the strange, the unexplained, and the unsolved. Stories of people who vanished, crimes the world never closed, mysteries that have outlived everyone who tried to solve them. These stories are dark, but the way we tell them is calm. Dim the lights, settle in, close your eyes if you want to. Before we begin, if you find these stories help you drift off, do me one small favor while you're still awake. Tap the like button, subscribe to the channel. It tells the quiet algorithms that this kind of storytelling matters, and it helps more sleepless people find their way here. Now, tonight's story. On a quiet afternoon in December of 1872, in the calm blue waters of the North Atlantic, a British merchant ship called the Dei Gratia spotted something strange on the horizon. A ship, sails partly set, drifting. She was not flying any signal. She was not steering any course. She was simply moving with the wind, listing slightly to one side, alone in a calm sea. The captain of the Dei Gratia raised his spyglass. He recognized the ship. Her name was the Mary Celeste. He had known her captain. He had eaten dinner with him in New York Harbor only a few weeks before. The Mary Celeste was supposed to be hundreds of miles ahead by now, on her way to Italy with a cargo of industrial alcohol. She should not have been here. She should not have been drifting. And as the Dei Gratia drew closer, and a small boarding party climbed onto her empty deck, they would find something that has puzzled the world for more than 150 years. A ship in perfect condition. A meal in the galley, a logbook open on the captain's table, a child's toys on the cabin floor, and not a single living soul on board. This is the story of the Mary Celeste. To understand what happened on the Mary Celeste, you have to understand the people who were aboard her. The ship herself had a difficult history. She was built in 19th century Nova Scotia, launched in 1861 under a different name, the Amazon. From the very beginning, she seems to attract misfortune. Her first captain died of pneumonia within days of taking command. Her maiden voyage ended in a collision. She caught fire. She ran aground in a storm off Cape Breton. By 1868, she had been sold to American owners. They renamed her the Mary Celeste. Sailors are a superstitious lot. Renaming a ship is considered in some traditions to be very bad luck. Her captain on this voyage was a man named Benjamin Spooner Briggs. He was 37 years old, the son of a sea captain, the brother of 3 other sea captains. He had been sailing the world since he was a boy. He was a devout Christian, a teetotaler, a man known for his calm temperament and his strict but fair command. He read the Bible every morning. He kept his ships meticulously clean. His logbooks were always immaculate. He had recently bought a share in the Mary Celeste. This voyage was meant to be the beginning of a more prosperous chapter for his family. He was, by every account, a man at peace with his work and his life. He had brought his wife with him. Her name was Sarah. She was 30 years old. She and Benjamin had been married for 10 years. She had grown up in a sailing family herself, and she had often traveled with her husband on long voyages. She brought with her a small portable harmonium, a kind of pump organ, which she played in the captain's cabin in the evenings. She brought her sewing machine. She brought books. She also brought their daughter, Sophia Matilda Briggs, 2 years old. The Briggs' older son, Arthur, who was 7, had been left behind in Massachusetts with his grandmother. He was old enough now for school. He would never see his parents or his sister again. The crew was small, 7 men, hand-picked by Captain Briggs himself. There were 2 German brothers, Volkert and Bos Lorenzen, both experienced sailors. There was a German cook named Edward Head. There was a Dane named Arian Martins. There was a young American first mate named Albert Richardson, only 28 years old, recently married, who Briggs had sailed with before and trusted completely. Briggs wrote a letter to his mother the day before sailing. He said he was pleased with his crew. He expected, in his words, A quiet trip. The cargo was 1,700 wooden barrels of denatured alcohol, industrial grade, the kind used in fortifying wines and producing solvents, not meant for drinking. The barrels had been carefully stowed in the hold. Together, the ship, the cargo, the captain, his family, and the 7 crewmen represented a routine commercial voyage. New York to Genoa, Italy. About 4,000 nautical miles, 5 or 6 weeks at sea. The Mary Celeste sailed out of New York Harbor on November 7, 1872, past Staten Island, past Sandy Hook, out into the open Atlantic. It was the last time anyone aboard would ever be seen alive.
28 days later, December 5, 1872. The British ship Dei Gratia was sailing the same route, New York to Gibraltar, about 400 miles east of the Azores Islands. Her captain, David Morehouse, knew Benjamin Briggs personally. The 2 captains had eaten dinner together in New York the night before the Mary Celeste sailed. Their ships had been expected to follow similar paths across the Atlantic. The Dei Gratia had sailed a week and a half later. By rights, the Mary Celeste should have been days ahead, well into the Mediterranean by now. So, when Captain Morehouse spotted a ship through his spyglass that afternoon, drifting strangely, sails in disarray, he became uneasy. He brought the Dei Gratia closer. He raised his speaking trumpet and called across the water. No answer. He called again, louder. Nothing. Only the sound of the waves and the wind in the rigging of the silent ship. Captain Morehouse ordered a small boat lowered into the water. He sent 3 men to investigate, his first mate, Oliver Devoe, the second mate, and 1 ordinary seaman. They rowed across the calm sea toward the Mary Celeste. They climbed onto her deck, and what they found there, they would describe for the rest of their lives. The ship was empty, completely empty, but she was not damaged, not really. Some sails had blown loose. The foresail and upper fore topsail were missing, torn away by wind, perhaps days earlier. But the mainsail was set. The ship was riding easily in the calm sea. The wheel was unlashed and spinning freely. In the hold, the cargo was intact. 1,700 barrels of alcohol still secured. Though Devoe would later note that 9 of the barrels had been opened, or had leaked, or had been somehow disturbed. 6 months of provisions sat in the galley and stores: salted meat, hard bread, barrels of fresh water, enough food and water for the entire crew to survive for half a year. The pumps worked. There was some water in the hold, about 3.5 feet of it, but not enough to threaten the ship. She was sound. She was sailing herself. In the captain's cabin, the boarding party found stranger things. The logbook lay open on the navigation table. The last entry was dated November 25th, 10 days earlier. The entry recorded a routine sighting of Santa Maria Island in the Azores. Sarah Briggs's sewing machine sat on a small table, still threaded. Her harmonium stood in the corner. Sheet music lay open on top of it. Children's toys were scattered across the cabin floor: small dolls, picture books, blocks, things a 2-year-old girl would have been playing with. A meal had been prepared in the galley. There were dishes set out. There was food, though accounts differ on exactly what state it was in. Some early reports claimed it was still warm. Later, more careful investigations suggested it had simply been left, perhaps days before. But the captain, his wife, their daughter, the 7 crewmen, all gone. The lifeboat, a small yawl that had been stowed across the main hatch, was missing. The hatch covers themselves had been removed and lay on the deck. A length of rope trailed from the stern of the ship into the water behind her, frayed at the end. And on the navigation table, the chronometer and the sextant were gone. 2 of the most valuable navigation instruments aboard any ship. The tools a captain would never abandon, unless he was leaving the ship for good. Whatever had happened, the people aboard the Mary Celeste had left in a hurry. They had launched the only lifeboat. They had taken their navigation instruments,
and they had rowed away from a perfectly sound ship in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
The Dei Gratia took the Mary Celeste under tow. It was a difficult operation. Captain Morehouse split his already small crew between the two ships and made for the nearest port, Gibraltar, 800 miles to the east. The journey took 9 days through worsening weather. When they arrived, the British authorities took possession of the ship, and the investigation began. The lead investigator was a man named Frederick Solly Flood, the Attorney General of Gibraltar, a suspicious man by nature, a man who, almost from the moment he stepped aboard the Mary Celeste, became convinced he was looking at the scene of a crime. He examined every detail of the ship. He found marks on the bow he believed were made by an axe. He found stains on the deck he believed were blood. He found a sword in the captain's cabin he believed had been wiped clean. He suspected the crew of the Dei Gratia of murder, on the theory that they had killed the Mary Celeste's people in order to claim her as salvage. He suspected the crew of the Mary Celeste of mutiny. He suspected Captain Briggs himself of killing his own family for the insurance money. He held the Mary Celeste in Gibraltar for 3 months. He cross-examined Captain Morehouse and his men. He sent samples of the suspected blood to be tested. And his case collapsed. The marks on the hull were natural weathering, common to any wooden ship that had crossed the Atlantic in winter. The stains were not blood. The sword was an ornamental piece, untouched in years. The crew of the Dei Gratia had verifiable whereabouts at every point of the voyage. There was no motive, no bodies, no witnesses, no evidence of any crime. After 3 months, the court released the Mary Celeste. The salvage award was paid to the Dei Gratia, though smaller than usual because Solly Flood's accusations had cast a shadow that never fully lifted. The Mary Celeste sailed on, under new owners, into the rest of her unhappy life. Theories about what happened to her crew have multiplied for 153 years. The most credible involves the alcohol cargo. Some researchers believe that the barrels in the hold had begun to leak vapor, that Captain Briggs, fearing an explosion, had ordered everyone into the lifeboat as a precaution, tethering the boat to the ship by that long rope trailing from the stern, planning to wait at a safe distance until the danger passed. And then something went wrong. The rope frayed and broke. A sudden squall blew up. The ship, still under sail, moved away faster than the small boat could follow, and the 10 people in the lifeboat were left behind, alone, in the middle of the Atlantic, with no navigation instruments, no food, no water, watching their ship sail away from them into the horizon. Other theories have been offered over the years: a waterspout that lifted the crew off the deck, a seaquake that panicked them into the boat, a toxic gas from the cargo, a pirate attack, a mutiny, a captain gone mad. Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes, wrote a fictional version of the story in 1884. His tale was so vivid and so widely read that for decades much of what people believed about the Mary Celeste was actually his invention. The half-eaten meal still warm on the table, the cat sleeping in the galley, the boiling kettle. None of those details were in the original record. All of them were Conan Doyle. The truth is simpler and stranger. We don't know what happened on the Mary Celeste. We don't know why 10 people climbed into a small boat in the middle of a calm sea, leaving behind a sound ship full of food and water and shelter. We don't know where they went. We don't know how they died. The lifeboat was never found. No bodies were ever recovered. No survivor ever surfaced. No message in a bottle ever washed ashore on any coast in the world. For 153 years, 10 people have been missing from the deck of a ship in the middle of the North Atlantic. The Mary Celeste herself was sold and resold over the next 13 years. She had a string of unlucky owners, cargoes that spoiled, captains who quit, crews who refused to sign on. In 1885, her final captain, a man named Gilman Parker,
deliberately ran her aground on a coral reef off the coast of Haiti as part of an insurance fraud. He was caught. He was prosecuted. The wreck of the Mary Celeste was abandoned where it lay, and she rotted slowly into the warm Caribbean water until the sea closed over her. The ship is gone now. The people who were aboard her are gone. The court records are stored in archives in London and Washington. What remains is the image. A ship under sail in a calm sea. A meal half eaten. A sewing machine threaded. A child's toys on the floor. And the question of why 10 people walked off the deck of a perfectly good ship into a small boat and were never seen again.
If you'd like to hear more stories of ships that sailed into mystery, subscribe to the channel. New stories of the unsolved every Tuesday and Sunday. For tonight, we leave the Mary Celeste where the world found her, adrift in a calm sea, her sails moving in the wind, her cabin doors swinging open and closed, and no one aboard to hear them. Sleep well.